Hi everyone, a very good morning I bid to all who attended this 29th Malta International Conference 2021. My name is Melissa Wong and I'm from International Languages Teacher Training Institute, which is also known as IPG-KBA. Today I'm here to present my research with the title of Perceptions and Attitudes towards the use of reward system to reinforce learning behaviors among Year 4 pupils in one of the primary national schools in Kuala Lumpur. First, I'll start with the statement of the problem. In 2013, CEFR was widely introduced in Malaysia, and reward was one of the suggested practices in the policy of CEFR-aligned school-based assessment. Many teachers were suggested to use reward as a strategy to reinforce the pupils' learning behavior and also learning performances. Since then, reward was widely adopted by many teachers from the primary school and also the secondary school, especially in SKX. Reward has become a norm. The authorities had told the teachers to use reward in their classroom, so the teachers blindly followed the norm of using this reward system in the classroom. However, the teachers have neglected the pupils' voice and thought about how the effectiveness of this reward has came about. Therefore, the statement of my problem is how the pupils perceive reward and what is the real effect of the rewards. Consequently, there are two research questions. The first one is, to what extent do teachers apply reward in ESL classroom to reinforce learning behavior? The outcome might be rarely, occasionally, or regularly the teacher use reward in ESL classroom to reinforce the learning behaviors. And the second research question is, does reward help to reinforce pupils' learning behavior? Here, it will be split into two sections. This is based on pupils' perception or the pupils' attitude. So they are a bit different in both of this because in pupils' perception, this is based on how the pupil think the reward can help or cannot help to reinforce their learning behaviors, even though reward has not been used in the classroom. However, pupils' attitude is to identify how the pupils reacted towards reward when reward is used in the classroom to reinforce their learning behaviors. So the outcome might be positive, whereby the pupils, like the teacher, participate well in the classroom, they behave well, or they work hard. Whereas for neutral response is where the students stay quiet. And the third one is negative effect, where the pupils dislike the teacher and pay no attention in the classroom, they mess around in the classroom, and also they do less work. Next is the research objectives. Here we have two research objectives. First one is to help the teachers to know the effect of reward system implemented in the reinforcement of learning behaviors. This is to help the teachers for further adaptation in the reward system that they have used to maximize the potential effect on the pupils. And the second objective is to promote teachers' understanding of pupils' perception and responses towards reward system so that the teachers can better utilize the reward system to help the pupils in reinforcement of behavior. Okay, now we're going to talk about the literature review of this research. This research is based on the reinforcement theory of motivation by Skinner in 1938, which stated that behavior that is followed by pleasant consequences such as reward is likely to be repeated. In other words, it means that when a desired behavior has been done, reward is given to a certain people, and that person will more likely to repeat the same behavior. Okay, and there are some previous research that is done based on this theory. So here we have Yaman and Guven 2014 and also Watina and Widaya 2019 who found that reward has a positive effects on the students. And Langa 2014 also shows that reward is efficient to shape pupils' behavior through positive strengthening in his research. And also, UNISA et al. 2019 found out that most of the secondary students perceive reward as a good and effective classroom strategies, and it has helped them to modify them into a better people. However, in most of this previous research, we can see that there is none of the research who focus particularly on primary students. Therefore, this is why it leads to my research. Okay, now we will start to talk about the research methodology of this research. The survey design used in this research is cross-sectional survey design because in this research we are to identify the pupil's attitude and also opinions. So it is best to use cross-sectional survey design where we collect data at only one point in time. And for sampling, simple random sampling technique has been used to randomly select 30 Year 4 pupils out of 120 pupils in SKX. And the research instrument used is survey questionnaire adapted from UNISA's and Miller's questionnaire. And there are three constructs in this survey questionnaire. The first construct is to answer the first research question, and the second construct and the third construct is to answer the research questions number 2, which separated into two sections, which is the pupils' perception and also the pupils' attitude. And this survey questionnaire is pencil-based, where the pupils will receive a printed version of survey questionnaire so that they can just straight away answer it in the printed version survey. And after that, interview will also be conducted on selected respondents with 4 open-ended questions. For the data collection, first we started to seek for school permission to conduct the survey first. After we selected the respondents, we give out the questionnaires to be filled up, and then we collect back all the data in the questionnaires. After that, we will select respondents to conduct interviews for further triangulation. And last but not least is data analysis. Data analysis was done in descriptive statistics such as frequencies, percentages, mean, and also standard deviation by using Microsoft Excel. Now to the most important part is research findings. It was answered based on the research question. Okay, so the research question number 1 is, to what extent do teachers apply reward in ESL classroom to reinforce learning behaviors? And from this table, we can see that most of the teachers occasionally use reward in ESL classroom to reinforce the learning behaviors. And among the types of reward has been used by the teachers are praises, positive feedback, non-verbal, and also point and stickers, as well as work display. Okay, the second research question is, does reward help to reinforce pupils' learning behavior? And in the first section, which is to identify the pupils' perception towards the use of reward system, we can see that from this table, most of the pupils agreed that reward can help to reinforce their learning behaviors. And whereas towards the attitudes, most of the pupils show positive reaction, such as like the teacher and participate well in class, and also work hard. In the nutshell, the conclusion is most of the teachers adopted reward occasionally as a strategy to reinforce pupils' learning behavior, and pupils perceive and react to reward positively, which reflects significant positive effects on the use of reward to reinforce the learning behaviors. And the implications are, teachers can be aware of the real effects and evaluate it to make appropriate adjustment for maximize the usage of reward. And second is, the government education sector and policymakers can make proper considerations and decisions based on the findings to create better education system. The last but not least is, the parents can understand the actual needs of rewards on their children. And for more further recommendations on this research is, further studies can be done on larger samples and consider the involvement of different types of primary schools, such as public primary schools, private institution and also international schools, so that you can really show how all the primary students reacted towards this reward system in reinforcing the pupils' learning behavior. So these are my references, and a very thank you for lending me your ear.